Good morning, class. Today I'll be talking to you guys about the social penetration theory. And basically, what is the social penetration theory? Well, the social penetration theory is a process of turning a superficial relationship into a more in-depth and intimate relationship. This theory plays a huge role in understanding how relationships develop, as you read in our chapter in our book by Altman and Taylor. Basically, you remember that they told us about the onion and how we basically peel back layers every single time we get more intimate with that person. And that's basically how the social penetration views relationships, is that it's like a layer and you grow your relationship by peeling back layers. Today I will be talking to you guys about how the social penetration theory is affected by social media and bloggers and how that's different from regular relationships, like in-person relationships. And then I will also talk about everyone's expectations when they're exposed to a new relationship and moving from stage to stage like that. So let's get started with the social media part. In an article that I read by Alison Atro titled "Sharing Only Parts of Me, Selective Categorical Self-Disclosure Across Internet Arenas," written in July 2012, she states that there is a consistent pattern of significant differences in the sharing of superficial and more personal or intimate informations in instant messaging, social networking, and general communications. Bloggers seem to widely express on all topics, which is similar to the findings in the depth of self-disclosure. They tend to disclose personal interests, experience, work, and feelings more often, and personal and financial matters less often. Basically saying that in a relationship, you're supposed to slowly, gradually get into the more personal relationships. However, with blogging and also vlogging with videos, people are really just putting their personal information out there, which is kind of allowing that social penetration theory to not fully be processed and fully be used. In another article that I read about the social penetration theory and blogging titled "Self-Disclosure Among Bloggers, Re-examination of Social Penetration Theory," Tang and Chen Chung, it states that such distal layers are impediments in the self-disclosure process and are not shed all at once. Rather, the outer layers must first be exposed, experienced, and successively shed before the inner and intimate layers are revealed. This gradual escalation of the revealing process is termed social penetration theory. As individuals disclose more information regarding themselves to other members, it is likely that the disclosures reach the more central and intimate cores during the progression of the relationship. Nowadays, people tend to open up and disclose information to strangers a lot easier nowadays over social media, as I was saying before. This completely changed the whole perception of the social penetration theory, because instead of peeling back each layer piece by piece, people tend to jump straight into the personal stuff without even getting a chance to know who that person is. Prior research has also stressed that the internet has invoked a high level of self-disclosure regarding online interpersonal relationships, such as maybe dating apps or social media like Instagram, Twitter, stuff like that. Intimate relationships aren't really developing properly because of the fact that you're not having that personal, interpersonal relationship in person, I would say. You're mainly just having it online, which can also be beneficial, but you kind of need that face-to-face contact in order to really develop a relationship properly. For example, a study found that people report of disclosing significantly more in their internet relationships compared to their real life relationships, because it is so much easier to just state your personal information online than to state a personal personal information to someone in person. It's a lot harder to say things in person than online, and that's what people are really struggling with today. Another study argued that participation in online news groups provides people with benefits of disclosing a long secret part of oneself. Our findings, however, challenge these ideas in that bloggers are more willing to disclose their real-life best friends deeply and widely rather than on their blogs. The interpersonal relationships in the real world seem irreplaceable. This is very important information to retain, because it is basically saying that information disclosed online / on the internet is not always the same quality as in person, as I was saying before. The next topic that I will discuss will be the values and expectations that we hold with a relationship. In the Encyclopedia of Communication Theory, written in 2009, Stephen Littlejohn states that penetration is viewed as a dialect that is driven by the tension between views that should be shared versus what should be kept private. According to the theory, individuals evaluate relationships in a relatively rational manner and compare it to an economic standpoint. Basically saying that if there is not a reward or progress that is occurring in the relationship, then there will be a lot of lack of interest between the two people that are self-disclosing the information. Littlejohn also states that humans, even without thinking about it, weigh each relationship and interaction with other humans on a reward cost scale. So they look at other relationships and what other people have, or like their past relationships and what they used to have, and they kind of judge their relationship that they have now with what they had before and what they're seeing. And if the interaction is satisfactory, then that person or relationship is favorable. So if you're in a relationship or barely starting to get comfortable with your friend/significant other, you are not gaining anything that benefits you quite yet. And if you're not getting that, then you are more likely to become unmotivated to continue to grow with that relationship. However, if you're with that person and they say, just say they have great qualities, maybe they're really funny and they make you have a positive outlook on life, or you guys do fun stuff together and you're very adventurous together and you just bring out the best of each other, then that could be many benefits that motivate you to continue that relationship and dive deeper into it. I also wanted to touch on a little bit how gender and race could potentially be involved in this as well. The original theory did not account for gender differences in vulnerability, but later research concludes that males are less open than females. Gender, race, culture, and ethnic backgrounds could greatly influence findings that may contribute to the depth of a relationship. But I will go more in depth on that with my paper. I just kind of wanted to bring that up to make you aware that this could really affect your relationship as well. So to conclude my thoughts today, I would like to say that the social penetration theory can go down many different paths. I only went down a few today, but I talked about how it is affected through social media and blogging, as well as we also talked about the disclosure and how our expectations as an individual really affect how our relationships come out to be. And lastly, I touched a little bit on gender and race and how that could be a really important factor that is incorporated in this theory. I hope you guys all took a little bit of something out of this, and if you have any questions or comments, I'll be happy to discuss with you later in class. So thank you for listening, you guys, and I'll see you in your videos.